You're taking a look inside Kansas politics. Welcome in. I'm Bob Beatty. We begin with what else? The 2024 general election results in Kansas. What happened? Why? And what does it mean for Kansans in 2025? Joining me today is political science professor Michael Smith and state and local government lecturer Bill Fiender. Thanks for being here. And let's take a look at the federal races here in Kansas. For president, Donald Trump defeated Kamala Harris 57% to 41%. In the 1st Congressional District, Tracy Mann beat Paul Buskirk 70% to 30%. In the 2nd Congressional District, Derek Schmidt defeated Nancy Boyda 57% to 38%. And in the 3rd Congressional District, Democrat Sharice Davids beat Prasanth Reddy 53% to 43%. In the 4th Congressional District, Ron Estes beat Esau Freeman 65% to 35%. And before we get into the details with these two gentlemen, I wanted to show one more graphic because we're going to be talking a bit, I would assume, about the presidential race, which is this graphic here. It's the list of former vice presidents who unsuccessfully ran for president. Alvin Barkley in 52, Richard Nixon in 60, Hubert Humphrey in 68, Gerald Ford in 76, Mondale in 84. It goes on. Dan Quayle in 2000, Al Gore in 2000, Mike Pence in 2024, and now Kamala Harris in 2024. Of course, we know Richard Nixon later did win, and later Joe Biden won after being vice president. But I was just struck by that list. It's almost like three strikes against you if you're VP and you decide to run. But Donald Trump wins Kansas by 17 points. But in Johnson County, Kamala Harris wins by 8 points, but Sharice Davids, the Democratic congresswoman, wins by 14 points. Michael, let's start with you. Why did Harris, Harris did well in County, but why did Sharice Davids overperform? She actually got 6 more points than Harris did in Johnson County. So Sharice Davids, the only Democrat in the congressional delegation, and yet she continues to win up in the 3rd district.
Sharice Davids is relatively young for a member of Congress, but her politics is pretty old school. Yeah. She will go door to door in her district. She will do the work day, where she'll actually work with UPS workers and so on and so forth, put on the uniform and everything, not just a photo op. And her politics are very much based on the district. And she said many times during this and previous campaigns, I will vote against my party leadership if I think it's bad for my district. She even went so far as to get Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's chief of staff fired several years ago after he attacked her for being too moderate. So she is a district-based representative. And she also, the other thing is Johnson County is changing, like you pointed out. Kamala Harris is the 2nd Democrat now since Woodrow Wilson. Joe Biden was the first to win Johnson County. So it's already trending blue. But I think the fact that even with those 3 rural counties added to the district by redistricting and half of Wyandotte County taken out, that it didn't even make a dent in her reelection margins is also affirmation of her very district-based approach.
Yeah, and obviously we'll get to the Republicans later. But Bill, your take on that?
I'd have to echo what Michael's saying a lot with one little twist. She's not extreme, and she meets people where they are, and you explained that beautifully. And the geography, it's an urbanizing area. Don't discount that. Yeah. You have people moving. This is a growing area. This is a growing urban area. Even though they took in some outlying counties. And so that's going to play more to these views. But having her, I think she's pretty good on the business-friendly side. I think people know what to expect with her. Yes, doing these things on the ground, again, meeting people where they are, not being extreme, and the growing urbanization. I think those are all playing into her success there.
Yeah, and I think what she does very effectively is figure out how to communicate what her brand is. I think she does it better even than many national Democrats. So take a look at one of the ads she ran and how she addressed the issue and the criticism of Democrats on inflation.
The Price Gouging Prevention Act. It's a mouthful. It's meant to put more food on your table and keep more money in your pocket. I'm Sharice Davids. Increased grocery prices, sometimes with less in the package, are hurting Kansas families. It's called greedflation, and I'm working to stop it. I approve this message. From stopping price gouging to capping drug costs like insulin at $35. Helping Kansans cope with high prices is my highest priority.
Yeah, so, you know, Democrats and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and a lot of Democrats were criticized. Oh, you know, the prices are high, inflation is high, and I never was really sure what their answer was. But then Sharice Davids, in 30 seconds, was able to say, well, yes, it is a problem, and here's something I'm specifically doing about it. And she even reframed it into sort of an attack on corporations, which I thought was clever. So, you know, I think Sharice Davids has been very effective in the 3rd District, and that's indicative of her results. When we come back, we'll take a look at the results from the state legislative races.
Since 1942, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas has been supporting Kansans with healthcare needs throughout their biggest life moments. A Medicare Advantage plan from Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas can help you in your next big moment. With $0 premiums, vision, dental, and hearing coverage, prescription drug benefits, and a PPO network, all backed by a customer service team you can trust. We'll be there for you because we were likely there for you on the day you were born. There for your first day. There for your scares and celebrations. And we're here for you now. One thing that has stayed constant is our coverage for Kansans. Switch to a Medicare Advantage plan from Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas today. Call 785-546-6238 or visit bcbsks.com/choose-MA.
My wife and my son and I were in my truck, and 2 vehicles got in a wreck in front of us, and we were collected into that wreck. There was no surprises with Matt. He's got everything lined out. I could not recommend Brett's injury law enough.
Heartland Door and Windows Fall Savings Event is happening now. Select garage door models anywhere from 4 to 12% off from now through November. Save up to $300 on Classica single doors, or up to $500 on Hillcrest double doors, and up to $1,000 on Vista double doors, one of the most high-end doors in the industry. Call today and ask about the Heartland Door and Window Fall Savings Event and take advantage of these great deals happening now through November in Topeka, Lawrence, Manhattan, and St. Joseph.
Now in its 37th year, it's Casa of Shawnee County's Homes for the Holidays Tour, November 23rd and 24th. Visit 3 homes beautifully decorated for the holidays by local designers. All money raised helps support Casa of Shawnee County. Get your tickets today.
Welcome back to Inside Kansas Politics. I'm Bob Beatty. Continuing our conversation, Democratic Governor Laura Kelly hoped to break the supermajority that the Republicans hold in the Kansas legislature. But Republicans won the key races they needed to win and held on to it. Michael, why was breaking that supermajority so important for Governor Kelly, and why didn't it happen?
Well, so a supermajority can override the governor's veto as long as they vote together as a party. Now, if they have defectors, which they sometimes do, they can't. But this means that if the Republicans stick together as a party, they can pretty much do what they want, even with a Democratic governor with a veto. Were the Democrats to have broken that, which, as you pointed out, they did not, then the Republicans to override a veto would need some Democratic votes.
And why do you think the Democrats were not able to break it, even though so much money was put into it? The governor formed a PAC. There was targeted races. The Democrats really joined the battle this time around. But in a number of races, I looked at the list that had been targeted. They came close.
Right.
And it was remarkable, 48-52, 48-52, 48-52, but just couldn't crack those Senate and House races, the Republican-held ones.
You know, I'm a bit old-fashioned. You know, all politics is local, Tip O'Neill said years ago. It may come down in part to the individual dynamics of those races. So Senator Mike Thompson, for example, who has promulgated conspiracy theories about elections, he's a former Fox News weatherman, and he has extraordinarily high name recognition because of that, much more than most state legislators do. Kelly Warren in Johnson County, who's actually pretty conservative. She ran as a candidate for Attorney General in the primary, pretty conservative a few years ago. But she positioned herself closer to the governor on school funding, which the governor didn't entirely agree with, but it seems to have worked. One more thing about Johnson County specifically. Again, Harris did win it. It is trending blue, but there are a lot of countercurrents in Johnson County, and one of the biggest ones that Bill and I have talked about is called Not in My Backyard. Prairie Village, a suburb that's now voting blue, has rejected more apartments and auxiliary dwelling units to bring the housing costs down, and Lenexa recently rejected permitting for a homeless shelter. So there's still a lot of stay off my turf. So I wouldn't call Johnson County liberal exactly.
Yeah. Bill, why do you think the Republicans were able to be successful this time around?
Great question, because there's a lot of money that was poured into the state to help break that supermajority.
Millions.
I don't know when.
Ever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ever's a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm a Democrat and I'm going. So the primary system, I would go back upstream a little bit. Who are the candidates coming out of the primary system that we have? To get out of that, you've got to be a little more on the extreme side. Are the Democrats putting in a less extreme candidate into the general, which you tend to want to have more moderate. To win the general, you have to be a little more moderate in general terms. So are we getting a fair fight in the general, is what I'm saying. The Republicans are pushing out probably more extreme candidate out of the primary. And maybe so are the Democrats. They get to the general, and there's no way a Democrat can break that when it comes right down to it. And so maybe you're getting voters that are not giving a hard choice. They're not having hard choices to make with a candidate that, at the end of the day, you have down ballot stuff that, particularly in a presidential election, that's maybe an easier check for them to make when they're not given another choice. So I don't know. The primary system was one thing that I was thinking about. Who are the Democrats actually putting out there?
And Michael mentioned Kelly Warren, and we're going to see one of her ads, because what some Republicans did was they went negative on their opponent in a very national way, saying, oh, they're radical liberals. Mm-hmm. But then they went local on their positive ads, saying they worked with Governor Kelly and they were bipartisan. So let's see Kelly Warren, Republican from the Johnson County area, and how she did that.
I'm Kelly Warren. My husband and I are Shawnee Mission South grads and proud parents of 4 Blue Valley School District kids. I know education is an investment in the future of Kansas. That's why I worked with Governor Kelly to end the school finance lawsuits. Now, our schools have been fully funded for 6 straight years. As your senator and a mom, I'll keep investing in our teachers, our students, and our future.
So Kelly Warren was able to do a double whammy. So maybe through the political action committees, they went after her Democratic opponent. I saw the ads, not just in her district, but radical liberal, the dark negative ads. So that cues party identification, but then there's that identification with Governor Kelly, who's popular in Johnson County. So we will get on to other aspects of the 2024 election after this break.
For the past 20 years, this community has trusted our in-house crews to install floors all across the area, and we thank you. For the best craftsmanship and overall value, thank Topeka's premier flooring and onyx dealer, Capital City Flooring, where fine quality and service matter most.
Win a Barrett M9950 BMG rifle with mount and scope from United Patriot Supply. Register online at UnitedPatriotSupply.com or in person at our Firearms and Ammo Superstore, 5 miles south of Seneca on K63. Drawing is December 15th.
Ladyfingers Automotive. Family-owned auto repair with hands that understand your vehicle. Quality repairs done at an affordable cost. When you're in need of service, repair, or towing, remember Ladyfingers Automotive.
Let Squeegee Squad make your home shine this year with a professional holiday light display. From homes to trees, roof lines, wreaths, and more, Squeegee Squad will work with you to design a custom lighting plan. They handle the entire process from installation to takedown. Spots are limited, so call now. And be sure to ask about permanent lighting, now available at Squeegee Squad. Spread some cheer without the hassle this year. Call Squeegee Squad today.
Let it shine all the time. Squeegee Squad, Squeegee Squad.
I was a stay-at-home mom for 20 years, and I wanted to get back into the workforce. I went through Level Up Kansas, so that way I would have a navigator to help me figure out which schools I could attend, and so that I could gain a career without having student loan debt. I went to medical coding because I live in a small town, and that is a need for the community at the hospital. I'll be able to complete college without any loans, be debt-free, and have a fulfilling career.
Live, we're in Palm Springs with Cheryl Lee Ralph and Kyle Richards, plus the Ultimate Pickleball Challenge.
We're ready for anything that comes our way.
Look out!
Beatty, and we're continuing our conversation. Kansas voters returned a Republican supermajority in the legislature. What issues will the GOP pursue in 2025 if they feel they have a stronger hand than they did in 2024? Bill, I start with you.
Property taxes have to be at the top of the list. We heard that even in some acceptance speeches last night.
Yelled out.
Yeah, and a lot of cheers in the background, if I remember.
Is that feasible? Is it going to happen?
You know, they didn't get everything they wanted at the last session. Honestly, we've talked about this before. I'm saving $40 a year, for instance. It's $40 I like, but it's not. The state is limited in what they can do with property taxes. If they're going to do it, they don't directly control it. They have to take from the school mill levy, for instance, that they give the schools. Then they can't let the schools. They have to equally fund them, so they have to take that from somewhere else. So there's a limit as to how much in property tax relief they can give, and impact-wise. That doesn't mean they're not going to try it, and because that's what their constituents want. On the other hand, we've heard Chris Kobach come out already and talk about changing the way they select Supreme Court judges.
Yeah.
Very emboldened. The governor nominates, and there's this, actually lawyers have a very big say in this in Kansas. It does not go to the Senate. It doesn't go to the legislature to be confirmed. So I think that's the day after hearing that. So those are some big things
they're making lists.
They're making lists. These are big things.
Yeah. Michael?
I think that they may do a deep dive on school funding.
Okay.
Now, that's a landmine for Republicans because most Kansans support the school funding formula. That's why the Democrats are doing so well in Johnson County these days. But what I'm thinking about specifically is this idea that the money is diverted to pay for administrative expenses, or that they just in general want more control, or they don't think enough of that is going into the classroom. Speaking of which, private school vouchers are another thing that comes to mind. On the property taxes, you didn't mention the personal property tax, like on vehicles. They might want that, and then because they no longer like to say flat tax because it doesn't poll well, single rate taxes, which the governor vetoed, they may take a second bite at that apple.
What about the so-called social issues, the whole transgender thing, the abortion? Will those come back, or are they becoming sort of an annual tradition?
I think they will come back. Obviously, the vote in 2022 and the Otis and Nauser decision and another more recent decision really boxed the legislature in on terms of regulating abortion. Missouri has also overturned its abortion ban. That's one of the states where people were traveling to Kansas to have abortions. That's going to get interesting. But the is they will try, and if it's unconstitutional, they'll just tell the courts, well, go ahead and overrule us, but we're still going to pass this.
Bill, let's think of let's be positive. Maybe the governor and the legislature can get together on some issues and get some things done. And I'm thinking, if that's the case, is it tax incentives? Are they going to keep doing that? And what new ones could they do? Or is there any new ones?
They went for the moon last session. They got pretty close to the moon. Governor Kelly has kind of drawn this line for long-term sustainability, fiscal sustainability. So that's why we mentioned the property tax. There might be a little bit to gain there. But I mean, if you saw the revenue reports,
are revenues up or are they down?
Revenue came short of what they projected. Tax cuts are hitting starting next year. The food tax is hitting zeroing out next year. So they're going to lose revenue, and there's uncertainty. And so when you have uncertainty, how much can you really legislate into the future? They did a lot of that last session. I'll be surprised. Outside of property tax, I'll be surprised they hit the tax incentive. They're going to look for economic development more, projects, some that we like, some that maybe we don't like, but bringing more revenue into the state will also help.
You think we got about 20 seconds in this segment, you think they'll go full speed, the legislature, on property taxes rather than incentives? That
has been the stated priority. And oh, by the way, we still have the whole Chiefs Royals thing hanging out there that they just want to dive into.
Yeah, so, we'll have to have another show about that. And Missouri still has not done anything. Can I point that out?
I know.
So things are still okay for Kansas. Kansas is still in the ballgame. There are always surprises and interesting elements in every election. So what about 2024 in Kansas? And we'll be right back. You're watching Inside Kansas Politics.
Cloud's vibrant faculty and staff provide an environment where students can explore their future and fulfill their potential. We are Cloud proud of our strong sense of community that's made us the best community college for student success. Are you ready to build your foundation? Join T-Bird Nation.
After a car accident, what do you get when you call Devon James?
You get one of the state's most trusted injury law firms and a team of attorneys known throughout the legal community.
You get the respect that comes with our reputation as trial lawyers, and from our proven record for getting big results.
Experience, reputation, results. That's what you want in your lawyer.
And that's what you get when you call Devon James.
Devon James wins. Call 888-8888.
Our local businesses are filled with hardworking, dedicated entrepreneurs who are Kansas proud. Consider shopping these Kansas proud businesses. Businesses like Lux Wellness Studio, Squeegee Squad, and Certified Fireplace and Chimney.
Hi, I'm April Lemon, and I have 36 artists that have worked here, so it's more than just me. Glassblowing had always been my dream. I'd always wanted to do it. My favorite part about my job is when I'm blowing glass and I'm interacting with people who've never seen it before.
Winter's first snowfall. It's a magical time. The kids are dressed and ready to play. In the living room. Those leaky vinyl windows were a great deal, though. At Renewal by Andersen, every replacement window we install is custom-sized and precision manufactured to fit your home. That means a perfect fit every time. Kick those cheap, leaky windows to the curb. Visit our website to claim this month's great offer and schedule your free consultation.
We have Allison Brown.
And we have Steve Martin.
And we have me. We have an all-new Kelly. Give it up, y'all. Plus Grammy winner John Batiste.
Are we doing a duet? Are we doing a duet? Is that what's happening right now?
Monday at 3 on 27 KSNT.
Welcome back to Inside Kansas Politics. I'm Bob Beatty. What was surprising in Kansas's election results this time around? Well, we're going to start with Michael Smith.
I think what was surprising is what wasn't surprising. In an election which does appear to show a lot of movement nationally, Kansans stuck with a lot of things. Like, for example, Trump's margin over Harris is very similar to his margin over Biden.
Yeah.
Many incumbents who were strongly contested got reelected. Now, granted, their margin was tiny, but they survived. Derek Schmidt was expected to win in the 2nd district. He did. Sharice Davids got the same margin she did last time. So I think with all this sea of change surrounding Kansas, Kansas kind of stuck with the status quo.
Yeah, and I actually looked, and if you just looked at party registration in almost every district, you could have predicted who would have won just by that's status quo, right? Stick with your party.
Yep.
Bill?
I was paying attention a little bit because we teach students, and this comes up a lot. But the representative bureaucracy at the legislature is not very representative of young people. Mm-hmm. And I think prior to this election, we had two legislators in their 20s. Representing, it's out of 165, by the way, so you do the math. That's pretty low. That cohort, that age cohort's in the 12% range, so extremely little representation there on that side. Not only do we have more than 2 through this go-around, we have, I think, 5 now.
I think there's 5.
5,
yeah.
Yes. Alexis Simmons in Topeka, we have Angel Rosser in Manhattan, and then the candidate in Hutchinson that was upset, Jason Probst.
That's right.
So 5 out of 165 now. So I think that's going in the right direction. It was a nice, and either side, it's a nice thing to.
And hopefully they won't be too shy. Well, this wasn't surprising, I would say, but I wanted to end the program on a fun note, and it's my favorite TV ad from the 2024 elections, and there were a lot of them. It's from Congressman Ron Estes, Republican in the 3rd District. Let's take a look.
Hi, Ron.
Hey, Ron.
Hi, Ron. Can you get my son's passport sorted?
I came here the right way, but my visa.
We're having trouble with Social Security again.
It's in process. Thanks, Ron.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Milk, eggs. Ooh, tomorrow's trash day.
All right, dear.
I'm Ron Estes, and I message because I work for you. And sometimes Susan, of course.
And that's that's the benefit of being in a district where you're probably pretty sure you're going to win. You can run a fun ad when it's neck and neck. They don't encourage that, but at least we had one in this cycle. And so, that was Inside Kansas Politics for this week, and we look forward to seeing you again. I thank Bill Finder and Michael Smith and for your insight and for coming in, and hopefully we'll see you again on another program.